Hello and welcome to the penultimate session of our now multi-year campaign of uh, the Godbound. We are on session 33, I think, if I'm correct in looking at our list, or 31, somewhere in those numbers. We are up there. And last time we saw our characters travel into the God plane, into the time of the mythic, explore some things there, return back from that, have some interactions with one another, and kind of talk about a little bit of what comes next. So I do want today to give you a chance to level up. You can do that at your leisure. I'm not going to just stop and have everybody do that, but you can do that as you have time to take those advances. Uh, to add abilities or any of those kinds of things as you wish. Oh, I should say, even though it's been a while, we've done this like 30 times, I should say, hello, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him. And this session is part of the Open Hearth Gaming Community, which is an online gaming club / community that you can find out more about at openhearthgaming.com. So we're going to take up with our characters there. The meta that we are in right now is I want to give us a chance for the characters to do things with NPCs, to do things with each other, do things set up, because we are effectively in the chapter before the storm. We have 2 sessions, which means that next session we're going to move to bring things together. So we are in that moment that we are waiting before all hell is going to break loose. So kind of keep that in mind in terms of the topics you want to cover, in terms of the way that you want to play things out today. Keep in mind also that there's a strong chance that Dan may not be able to make it next time. So we're going to be looking at seeing what we can do with the question of Ordevi, Evedro, some third possibility or a singular one. We just don't know right now. So we're going to keep that in mind. So let us begin with Ransom. In terms of interacting with another NPC in particular, or with a group in particular, or with another PC here, we are a little ways after the events of going into the mythic time. You also have this dominion. Maybe you want to talk about what you're going to do with that, at least in part. So what do you think we're going to see, Captain Ransom?
Well, one thing in particular is I have spent some time in Neharic, because I have spent 6 Dominion there and built them a set of ransom docks and the sailor's welcome that I had done in the other country. It
Hmm.
felt right to do it in my own country, I guess. So I did go ahead and do that. But part of that is also spending some time there and pressing the flesh and seeing that it's done properly. Um, I will have probably taken a few moments here and there to dip to the underworld afterlife sort of thing just to see that everything is going as it's supposed to and kind of touch base and with that. I imagine there's a sort of split consciousness. It sort of runs on its own, but at the same time, I would feel a need to drop in. Um, I imagine there was a point when I would have early on gone to speak with Ordevi about the decision, the singularity, as it were, of the new existence.
Then let's do that interaction to kind of start us out. Uh, because he is different after he comes back from that travel there. Um, so Ransom, how do you approach uh Ordevi? What are
The
we calling you?
I'm still Ordevi.
Okay, okay,
Evedra's just not present.
not present. Okay. So it is Ordevi. I mean, it looks like Ordevi, it sounds like Ordevi, but there's also clearly something different about him.
Right.
I would have probably tried to find you somewhere that is like your comfort zone, your office or quarters or somewhere like that. And or Debbie, my friend.
Hello, Ransom. I'm sorry I've not been around much. I think I'm grieving.
Really?
Mm.
Would you care for a little company?
Oh, always, always.
And I'll come in and say, would you care for something to drink or
Yeah, did you bring anything back with you from your recent travels?
I went over to Neharic and the port is bustling. Would you care for something strong or something teetotal?
Strong's probably good for me right about now.
Excellent. I found an excellent brandy, and I'll kind of put my hand down, and as I pull my hand up, the bottle and two glasses will be sitting there. And I will pour. You
Very
say you're
nice.
grieving.
Yeah, obviously, Evedra and I didn't ever truly interact, but we were a constant presence in each other's lives. And there were transition times during the day when it was maybe a little bit more him and a little bit less me. So I acutely feel his absence.
Is he gone?
He chose to stay in the mythic realm.
He was always curious. I imagine the mythic realm is a place to explore and learn.
I think so. I think this may sound strange, but I don't even know or understand his reasons for
Hmm.
staying. But um I think he sort of saw what was in front of him in terms of his work up here and realized that maybe he could do more and satisfy himself more down below or down in the mythic realm.
Well, I do regret not even realizing at the time that that was his decision. He and I had traveled together for a long time, but I will admit I would have been a great deal more upset had it been you who had not returned.
I think he understood that as well. I'll be honest, I didn't even realize it until we came back. Time
Hmm.
worked differently in the mythic realm.
Well, eh, at the state we are, it's not entirely sure that we won't run across him again.
That's true. And I probably could have sought him out over the last few months, but I'm taking his lack of a goodbye as a sign that maybe he needs some time alone.
Yeah, and when either of you are ready, perhaps you will reach out. Brothers should not remain separated forever.
You were right.
I I wanted to come to you with a obviously we have things ahead of us of great import. The dragon and the dark jungle. But once that's settled, one can hope there will be a bit of a respite. And as you know, I am hoping to wed and have asked you to be best man.
I, I've been shirking my duties. I didn't even plan a bachelor party or anything. but I needed this time to meditate and to reflect on the changes. But
I
I
hope
also feel like
none of that against you.
maybe we should get through those challenges that you mentioned, and then we can focus on that. Is that what you
Exactly.
had in mind?
Well, that yes. But once it happens, I intend and hope to take a chance to get back to sea, to give Lesha a chance to see more of the world, if that is, and she seems amenable to that. And you had mentioned that you might be interested in returning to a traveling way. Would you care to join the cruise with us?
Your offer means everything to me, Ransom. And before our excursion to the mythic realm, I would have agreed without a moment's hesitation. I'd assumed that I would travel and that perhaps Vedra would stay behind and look after the schools. But with him gone, I I need to understand what my responsibility is here. So I will give you a tentative yes. My heart wants to go with you, but I don't know where my obligations lie.
Well, think on it, and it's certainly not like those that we are responsible for are not always there speaking with us, and we're not a moment's away.
That's true. And I have some
I
ideas
really,
that I plan to discuss with Threadless to see about making that even more of a reality. I don't want to say anything just yet, but I'm have been making plans.
well, uh, and I will lift up my glass to you, Ordevi, and be with you with the light of day.
Thank you, Ransom.
All right, I think it's a good place for us to close that scene out. And we move to Tasos. Tasos, last time you had some interactions with the figure of desire. Uh, we also still have the kind of the question of your interactions with the siblings and with Nuanlao and with the cats, and what it is you want to spend your dominion on.
Um, let's see. have I have enough dominion potentially to go up to the next tier of um living nightmares, um, which would be like all of Gesnia, I'd imagine.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I was wondering if uh Tistag had the resources or interest to do a similar thing and get that other country, which I foolishly don't have the map open for at the moment, as well, and sort of blend them that way.
Oh, you mean Shansint?
Yes, that's the one.
That man. Uh, so I think that you will speak with them in that kind of dream cycle at the edge of your realms, and they will say, "Why? Why do we wish to do this? What is our goal?"
Because the world has always been, but in recent eras is especially a chaotic place. And people have learned too well to compartmentalize their fears, the things that they don't want to think about. And so they never think about them. And so nothing ever changes. And making sure that people realize what is available to them, what's going on inside of them.
So, is it that you want things to change or that you want enlightenment? What is it that you desire in doing this?
I don't want things to change. Things never change. Things are as they always have been.
Oh, I
Just want
disagree.
people to change.
Well, I think people are already changing. I think you have a misapprehension about how this world is. You have gods in it now. The closing that kept all of us, Gorn, Shansint, Kajafir, Gesnia, Arwicha, all of us safe and protected, that is gone. There are 3 great swallowing empires that lie outside that look hungrily on this place. I mean, you're already consorting with an agent of one of them, and you had a princess from another one. It's only a matter of time before they find the best ways to move across these gaps and come here, and then everything will change.
Then
You don't
should
have
our
to
people
worry about this place being static. It will, it will, it will change.
then should not our people be the best versions of themselves they can be?
And you think giving them these nightmares will make them the best they can be?
I think that as they are silent and lying to themselves, never admitting what they fear, what they want out of life, they'll never change.
You know, when you say it that way, you nearly have me convinced. I will make you a deal. I have gathered my power. I have husbanded it. I've held it like a bride. It is mine. I've kept it close. I have not used it beyond these minor things. I will put all of that in your hands if all of your companions agree and tell me so. And not all of them, just the seer, the builder, the captain, and I'm not sure what to call the last one.
The oncoming apocalypse.
I prefer to think of them as the hot one, but that's just me.
I
I feel like this is a very generous offer.
don't disagree, but I could have gone to any of those for raw power. I came to you because I need more of you than that.
Oh, I'm not saying that you couldn't have gotten something from them, but I'm willing to give you what you want if they will support you in this.
What I want is your influence, your change, your desires.
I think we're on the same page. You just don't want to do what I've asked you to do.
I just don't want to do it and be left without what I desire.
I am the fulfillment of all desires, so you don't have to worry about that.
Worry is sort of what I do.
I'm beginning to see that. That seems a petty fear, though.
Fear that a whimsical god may change their mind and blow a different way.
My
Seems well
lord,
founded.
our pantheon is joined to yours. I do not lie to my peers. I do not taunt and tease. If you do this thing, then you will have what you wish.
Very
And
well.
you may extend your desires and your dreams across these lands and change people. You are the changing one. I would think that calling me mercurial is something of a pot kettle black situation.
It is my best color.
Well, then, I look forward to hearing from you again.
I look forward to it also.
You know, I can tell whether you mean that or not.
I look forward to moving past things like that.
Oh, we never get past that kind of social awkwardness, no matter how divine we are. Be aware of that and fear it. And she's gone. Uh, Let us come to Darius. Bless you. I need to change my background. I just realized. Hang on one second. Let me choose my virtual background here. Da, 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 da. Oh, I'm glad that Zoom keeps all of these in perfect order. So they're exactly where you expect them to be. There we go. So Darius, you have been given some dominion. You
Yeah.
have come into contact with the mythic. So the question is, do you want to talk to an NPC? Do you want to talk to a PC? Do you want to talk about what you want to do with that dominion? What do you think?
Um, so at the end of last session, I was planning on like traveling to other cities and like setting up various temples to be able to get there in instantly. So I think that's probably what the Dominion is going to be for.
Okay. I think that at some point in there when you travel, because you do have distant temples in Shansint, where the other pantheon is, you will be greeted by Citric, who is their godbound of the cities, but purely
Yeah.
the godbound of the cities of Shansint. And he will greet you.
Cool.
And he will say, I find it difficult to move outside. Yeah, I am in awe of your gift that reaches more widely. I am very much the god of these cities, of this place. Uh, so I will show you to them, and we can install them where they need to be.
I don't wish to step on your toes.
Right. No,
Um,
no. It is less that. It is that you are a kindred soul. The others do not understand me. They they revel in the abstract. They revel in uh, uh, change and concepts and aspects. I revel in
yes, they do.
the stone under our feet, the walls that shelter us, the markets that we could visit. That is my temple. That is what I like. I think you understand that.
I I absolutely understand that. It's such a relief to talk to somebody who has these powers and this connection to a place, and your connection to this place is stronger than my connection to many places, and is still thinking about things you can touch, uh, people, not um, dreams and the passage of time and abstract concepts.
It is sometimes they get to talking and my mind goes to another city. Yeah, even as they begin to talk to me of these things. But uh, 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 what I was hoping is uh, Master Ransom and your people have brought many of the refugees over from Arwanshaw, and there are many there in the port. The evacuation was an event unparalleled in the number of people that we were able to bring over. Uh, but I wish to move these people to different places. Uh, Perhaps if you will go on a circuit with me of the cities, we can see what cities need, and then we can go to these people and find who would fill those places, and we can help resettle them.
That's yes, absolutely. That sounds nice.
And
I think Darius just absolutely is very much into this, and like yes, someone I can talk to and about like things that make sense to me.
and a little bit like how you operate, but maybe a little bit different. You will tell that for him, uh, like all the cities are one city in the sense that he just keeps walking, and at some point he's walked into the next city.
Cool.
And he kind of brings you along that way, and they he helps you understand like how for him they're very, very different. They're radically different, even
Mhm.
though they're still cities and they have a similar structure, similar thing, but he he loves all of them for their quirkiness. He'll even take you to the city that's kind of in a swamp that's much smaller than it used to be,
Mhm.
and people get posted there as a punishment. But he's quite fond of it in spite of that.
Yeah, I think Darius is kind of touched by this. Like, oh, this is someone who has a very positive connection to these places. It's not constantly like he's taken the time and to develop this connection. And kind of this is like I think his level of connection with these places is sort of like what Darius aspires to.
Yeah, I think you start to think of how the different like capitals that you've been to are their own like linked set of things. Start to see the scale of that. Citric will ask you like, so uh when I was young, I came into these gifts and I did not realize that not everyone could do this. And I would go to places in the city that we lived in and come back from them and tell my mother that I had gone to a place, and she would say, "There's no such place." And it wasn't until I got older that I realized that I was moving between the cities, that I could recognize by accent and by the feel of things that I was not in the same place as I was. How did you come to know that you were of the cities?
I felt called to different places. Felt just that I needed to be there. Usually right before some disaster was about to happen. I'm like, this is very different because the disasters happened in another place and we're helping the people who have come here to flee from it. But I never stayed long enough to really, to get to know these places the way you know the city, these cities. I Now that I understand a little more, I'm going to have to go back and learn them and maybe develop, something like of your sense.
Well, and you could do so much more than I can. My gifts are limited to helping people via the cities themselves. I can make the road straighter. I can make the market brighter. I can move away places that have become sick, things like that. But you can help the people themselves too. So the gifts that you have are are double because you have contact with the people themselves.
Yeah, so I'm still learning how to combine those. Thank you for showing me these places that are important to you and also giving me a chance to interact with the people here.
I hope that someday, when things are settled and you are going to other cities, perhaps I will gather the strength to go and travel with you so I can see other places beyond Shansit.
That would be lovely. Uh I'll see if I can, maybe I can find a way to make it safer for you to do so.
And he will thank you. And you'll probably spend a good week figuring out what the cities need, figuring out if there are people from amongst the refugees that you can move families to places, get them installed. You have temples to all of you at these places. And so essentially you kind of can use them as centers of refuge to get them established and lower some of the burden of the people who have fled and been rescued thanks to Ransom's work.
Yeah.
Ordevi, what are you up to?
I am carrying a big sheaf of papers and I am in search of Threadless. I want to build something and I need help.
Threadless, where does Ordevi find you? Or Dan, as I will call him. Or Dan, as the notes will call him, actually.
That's what call it, yes. Oh, that's a good question. I think that she's probably, that she's probably showing Sedenia, the the dragon to be, her preparation.
Sidenia is nodding and she says, I probably shouldn't get involved with this building.
Why do you say that?
Because I can't help but always put a little broken thing at the heart of anything.
I understand. But at some point, we'll need to come and speak to the dragon.
I'm sure I will. And Sidenia will turn and will see Ordevi. Ah, it is the professor.
Well, my brother was the professor. I'm just a guy.
You are very different.
I'm brimming since our trip. And I just had a great conversation with Ransom. I'm brimming with energy, and I'm sorry to interrupt. I
No.
had to talk to Threadless about something very important to me.
I'm going to go and look at the gallery of knives.
Mm,
So I'll leave you two to it.
they have many knives. If you have any questions, Edmund knows where the secret room of knives is.
Intriguing. And she will walk out.
She could kill so many people with those knives.
Where did she come from again? Why is she hanging around here?
And you know, she
makes me nervous.
Well, she should. She did think that your other half was awfully handsome, if a little bit. How do you say? Pedantic, but that's still. You wanted to talk to me?
Yes. No matter.
Yes.
I'm glad we have knives to distract her.
Exactly. Always good to have a distraction.
If Vedra wanted to build libraries, build schools, places for people to come to learn, to gather knowledge, though that always struck me as, like him, a little bit arrogant. Learning can happen anywhere at any time. The problem is that given the way things are, technology, given knowledge is locked in these libraries, in these books and things. And coming out of that mythic realm, I felt a swell of opportunity to build a machine, maybe fueled by magic, I don't know, that would allow people to access knowledge wherever they are. It would be the pinnacle of enlightenment. It would be this opportunity for anyone to tap into knowledge anywhere without having to come to a library or ask an academic or anything like that.
That is interesting. Almost like an aqueduct, but for knowledge instead of water.
I knew I was coming to the right person. It didn't even occur to me to think aqueduct. But yes,
well,
that's exactly what I mean.
So, well, like it. The thing is that knowledge has, what's the word for it? It usually comes with sort of the setting around it, context. It has context.
That's true.
So how would we provide that?
Meaning we can't just transmit small pieces of information,
right?
Because people might lose the important parts of that information.
How it associates with the other things that make it important and or useful.
So that when they are interacting with this device, it's conveying something a bit more holistic than
Mhm.
just simply small pieces of information.
Yes.
I like it. I like it. And maybe it's not just something, it's not just like a magic book, but a way for them to experience it with all of their senses. Like they touch it and ask it a question, and it sort of fills their mind with information, including the context.
That sounds like the most dangerous thing I have ever heard. I mean, even more dangerous than a dragon. And I am currently making a dragon and thinking about all the terrible things that could happen because of it. And I
So
think you may have one-upped me.
But do you think it's feasible to make it safe for people?
Oh, no, you can never make things safe for people. People are made of danger.
That's true. They seek it out
Essentially,
almost.
yeah. Wherever there's power, there will become an inequity, and it will be used against others.
But that's what I'm talking about. How can we make knowledge accessible to anyone?
Hmm.
You don't have to be born into a noble family. You don't have to be wealthy. You don't have to be able to afford to come to a library.
Let's see. Well, she sort of stops. I mean, I think the part of it is that I do think of it as a resource, and there are always problems with getting a resource distributed equally and consistently fairly, and it not becoming as a power source or something that is used against others or kept away from others or forced upon others.
I like where you're going. Meaning, so far we've talked about two things. One is they can't lose context of the
Right.
information. And the other thing is that if one person has the information, everybody should have the information.
Yes.
Not just simply access to it, but have it.
And is that a good thing?
It didn't occur to me that this machine, this network, if you will, of machines would allow, would also be able to control how people used the information, the knowledge that they got.
It would. Here's the thing. I think it would be a thing that would initially be excellent and awesome, and lots of good things would come out of it. And then there'd be that second wave of people who figured out how to use it. And they would come over and turn it into trash, utter trash.
But fans of knives, if you will, those folks.
Exactly. It's the ones that you've handed knives out, and there's some people who use them to clean fish, and other people who will be stabbing people with it.
Right.
And that is just still, I like it. Think that we need to think about maybe some core things that we would want to make very easy for people to have access to, just to start, just to understand how it transmits and how it affects things.
I like where you're going.
Yeah.
We don't have to do everything all at once. We don't have to do
No.
all of knowledge.
I mean, if we could work at first just getting a sort of literacy of like not even literacy, but I mean it doesn't have to be words or all the same, but a sort of vocabulary and think about talking about ideas.
And we can keep an eye on, because we're us, we can keep an eye on the effects that each group of knowledge has.
Do you know what people can't help but transmit? A snappy song.
You're right.
I know. I was just thinking about Ransom, and whenever he starts up with the musical thing, everyone joins. it all works out. It's just, it is a very powerful thing.
When was the last time we had a good sing along?
I don't know. We just need to talk to Ransom.
Yeah. So maybe we start with a little bit of musical literacy.
Mhm.
I'm probably will regret saying this, but no harm can come from a little bit of literacy. All right, I know you have to build this dragon, and I know we've got that thing coming, but I'm just glad you gave me a moment to talk to you about this idea and brainstorm a little bit. I'd sense from your enthusiasm that maybe there's an opportunity here,
Could be.
and I would like to name it after my brother if we ever get to build this thing,
I like that too.
because I think he would actually hate it.
So do I. Know so much. If we can make everything rhyme, it will truly drive him crazy.
I'm gonna go take all these ideas back to the drawing board. Anything you can do, anything you need help with on the dragon, you just let me know. I
All right, I will do that.
think we're done.
Awesome. I see so many ways that can go wrong. Just immediately,
Yep.
just
People are worried about what I'm doing. Or Debbie wants to teach the world to build a bomb.
Yeah, the sun god wants to distribute. I don't know if I'll get to spend the Dominion, but I'm holding in reserve all of this Dominion to build this, whatever this
to build this
Evedronet.
this Evedronet to provide a very specific, very culturally centered set of information to to cause disruptions of local cultures and societies.
And but everyone will be singing.
Everyone will be singing.
We're gonna turn on the tap, but we're just gonna just to build on the aqueduct, but we're just gonna do it very gradually. I like that.
So wow. Threadless.
Walks away giggling. She goes, I hope it doesn't happen, but it's very funny.
I can imagine a few things that you could transmit knowledge-wise that would be less disruptive, like basic math, healthcare. These are things that seem to me to be generally useful. But
I'm
I
pretty
think,
sure that sentence just overthrew about a quarter of the kingdoms on this planet.
yeah, that's true.
See, we're getting things done.
That's it. Threadless would just make an anti-monarchical knowledge machine.
Yeah,
This is why kings suck. That would be what we would teach through it.
This machine kills monarchies.
Yes.
No, it literally does. It has a secret room of knives to call upon.
Yes. Let's take our first break here, and then
Okay.
let's come back and talk dragons.
All right, let's
Okay.
talk dragons. Yes.
So let's take 10 and we'll be back. Threadless, you went into the mythic realm and you harvested parts for your dragon.
That's a horrible way of putting it. I quested
You
for.
gather the materials.
Yes,
to assemble.
I quested for a divine capability as a gift to the dragon.
So what do you think is involved with actually building a dragon?
So a dragon, and to say that you're building it is an interesting thing, but in some ways you are. You're building a summoning, and then you're building a context in which they exist here. Because whatever they are, it's very unclear from all of the other scholarly writings and things that I have found they are not from here, but they are from somewhere and very much completely and absolutely what they are, which is why a dragon always looks like a dragon. If that makes any sense.
Mhm.
So in some ways, it's like a summoning. But it's a summoning that it's a translation as well.
So tell me what the base superstructure you have to build is, what the device is that you need to build.
Mhm.
And then tell me what each of the members of the other pantheon from Shansint needs to contribute. And then we'll ask our other heroes, our other gods, what they will contribute to this. Does that seem fair?
Mhm.
So what do you think this is going to look like? Keeping in mind, for pure like mechanical meta thing, this is something that you're going to have to take into the presence of the other dragon to activate
Oh, okay.
to bring that to fruition in that space.
Okay. So I have, that's where the actual summoning will take place, is
I
in the
think
presence of
so.
the
I
black
think
dragon.
just to because you need to do that to be able to, separate unsawing from the dragon.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. So I think that what it is that it is featherlight webbing of sort of precious metals, and each of their contact points are gems. It is like jewel crafting to the most extreme sense, and this is going to be a huge thing, but the web, the sort of thing that is the bounds of what it will come into, is this. It's made with tiny gems that are in tiny settings with just like spider web thin wire that sort of maps out the space into which the summoning occurs, if that makes sense.
So essentially it's going to you're going to build this and it's going to look kind of like a large flattened or bundled thing that will get filled like an inflatable balloon
Mhm.
with dragon essence.
Yes, exactly. And then shape itself based on the gifts that we give it.
Okay. So how much dominion do you want to put into this?
There's a thing about what dominion, like how big it is. So I got to find that little thing to describe it.
So let's take a look at the dominions. Page is changing frames. So that is much more about like changing the sort of nature of the world, like the facts and things like that. So that kind of scale doesn't really apply here. It's basically like what are you investing, do you think, dominion wise from this? What kind of number?
Have 50 dominion. It seems to me
And you've spent how much of that?
11, and I have an afterlife and a other number of things and shrines and those things. It goes a long way. I'm trying to think that 20.
20 would be more than enough.
That's what I thought.
So even if we were to take the multiplier of impossibilities and
Mhm.
divide that by 4, That's still 5 points, which is enough to affect a region of 1,000 square miles or 1 million people. So yes, that will be more than enough.
Okay. That seems reasonable.
Let's have you roll a d20. This is not affected by luck. This is just one of those rolls for us to see and make sure that nothing odd happens.
Okay, that's the most ominous thing that you could say to me, but let's do it.
It is.
1d20. Oh, I got a 1 lol because you said it's not affected by luck. So it went right to the worst. I do have that luck roll.
That's why I specifically said that's
I
not
know.
affected by luck.
Okay.
So we will keep that in mind.
Okay.
So you will build this thing. Even with your skills, it takes time and constant effort and the manipulation of materials and the gathering of things. And I think it is exhausting even for you.
Mhm.
So let's ask, what metaphorical gift do you want to have the figures from the other pantheon give to this dragon?
Like one for each or
Yeah,
oh, okay.
we've got 6 gods there. Pick one, and then I'm going to come to one of your companions and we'll ask them.
Okay. I think then Hail Ren uh Hail Ren will give it the gift to see injustice.
Okay. Captain Ransom, what gift do you want to give this dragon?
The gift of defending the downtrodden.
Now that you have a cat parrot, Threadless, what is the next gift that you want to get from one of the pantheon from Shansund?
Just kind of looking at things. So penitent 10. I think he's protection. I think he gives the dragon the ability to essentially to protect someone, but the thing is it's a sense of where they are. Is that so that
They
ability
can
to like,
focus and dedicate, if they dedicate themselves to protecting a single
Yeah,
person, they
exactly.
can defend them. Okay.
Mhm.
Singular defense. Tasos, what gift do you want to give the dragon?
I think I want to give the dragon the awe that is every dragon's rightful birthright.
That sounds
An
good.
impact and a presence on the world, physical and spiritual.
Excellent. Threadless?
Citric gives it the ability to land on any building and cause it no harm. A feather light of sort.
Darius, what gift do you want to give the dragon?
Thing that is not typical of dragons at all. Knowing when to stop.
Ooh. Nice. Threadless. There are 3 gods from Shansint left. Which of the 3 do you overlook?
Oh my God, Lowell. This is the hardest question. Ah, geez. I wonder if it's because of that conversation that I had with Sedenia. Is that I just assume that she realizes that I've invited her and I don't go back and does that make any sense?
I think that sounds perfect. I think that
Yes.
sounds perfect and rational,
That's just
and very dangerous and good.
exactly terrible and wrong.
Ordevi, what gift do you want to give the dragon?
I think I had 2 ideas, but I'll go with this one. He gives the gift of knowing how other people feel. So the gift of empathy.
Ooh. Interesting. So, Lady Hypris and Tistag, which one next? Threadless.
Oh. Probably Lady Hypris. And she sort of laughs and she goes, "Oh, I will give it protection from swords. Aren't those the typical bane of a dragon?"
And before you can even ask them to this, Tistag says, I will make it hot. It
Oh,
will
thank goodness
be,
someone thought of that.
it will be smoking hot. People will write stories about it.
Those kinds of stories.
Those kinds of stories. And what gift do you give it, Threadless?
There is a thing of that as she's made it, she's hyper aware of how the entire creation process is like the thing that it binds completely out is fertility, that isn't a gift that she can give, that there is no undoing that. To the extent that she can't even give it building.
So then what remains?
Luck? Luck, I think. I think that she can once per day she can grant luck to someone, or she can take luck from someone for herself. For themselves. I don't know why I'm saying herself.
Okay, you'll give the gift of luck. And this is an exhausting, long process there. And I think we'll see kind of off screen after you've crashed. I do think we see Sedenia come in, and she will go to what you created and she will run her hands through it, and she will say, "You will be a symbol of kings." So let's come back to Captain Ransom. You know that the fight is coming. You know you've gathered the other pantheon here. They are present. The evacuation from the lands has been carried out expertly. Lady High Press has reported all of that too. She will tell you how Darius and Citric have relocated many. Others are being taken care of at these cities that you have blessed, and that various various vessels and freebooters and so on have come to aid and to take on those who would wish that. And of course, there are those who are being kept until the land is restored. But you will know that is coming. You will feel that in the air. The birds will carry to you that there is a change happening, that the undead are less ravaging around the landscape, but instead drawing back together for something and walking in great runes and paths. And it grows dark there. So here is the question that I have for you. Do you want to get married before the fight or after?
I'll speak to Leisha about this. This isn't my decision, certainly not alone. This will be dangerous. I would, in my heart, prefer that when we wed, it is a happy day without storm clouds ahead. But at the same time, should I fall, I would very much appreciate that I have had the chance to be your husband. But it is up to you. Should we wait for a glorious, happy day? Or should we wed in the face of peril?
She will say, what I learned when I traveled with you down below is that everything has a meaning. What you decide will speak volumes for what is to come. That is not a choice that I can make because you are a force of destiny. But know this, that should you fall, I will be beside you on that vessel in the waters down below, regardless of whether we are wed or not.
I think there's a little tear that comes down, and that we will wed once we have seen victory and in the glory of our success. My beautiful, beautiful bride to be.
Yes, I think that is the right choice. And what else do you want to do then, Ransom? Who do you want to talk to, PC or NPC wise here?
I think that I will kind of, if I'm getting some information from the birds around, I think I'm going to start dedicating a little bit of time to really, starting some spy efforts that are going on to this, and begin piecing together some of the things that these undead are doing. And I will, popping in and out of the sight lines and the senses of these birds and the things they're saying, and start laying out what they're doing, and bring in like everyone to look at this and study and see what we think that this might be. This is, my friends, this seems to be a powerful working. This is, I cannot say it is complete, but it is at least something of what is occurring. We should be prepared for it.
Ransom, I think that as you're watching this, as you're consulting with some of the assassins and so on, and they're looking through that, I think that you will realize that it is making these undead into a kind of a engine, moving parts of a ritual, of a thing that it is enacting. It is using corpses rather than ritual objects or spell items or things like that. And you can tell that it is working to tear open all the night roads, to open all of those sealed night roads, to break those barriers down.
Oh, dearie, dearie, dear. I will inform everyone of what I've learned. And probably like Threadless and Ordevi would be someone I very quickly would go to say, and everyone would know, but machines and knowledge,
Right, that
workings
makes
and
sense.
knowledge are my first two go-tos there of what the hell could this mean? What if they bust open the night roads? This place will be flooded with the Dizians of hell? Is that?
And she sort of stops. She's like, it used to be how they broke into the divine planes from the world. I don't know what is there yet now that they want.
I
But
know
my
Tasos has
history,
gazed into them some.
I just, there's plenty of history books, so I think I'll turn to Ordevi and say, what is it that would be there?
What would
The
Wh-
night roads, they would take them, they used to be the way they got to the plains, to the divine plains.
right, and how the most awful things in the plains came to us too. I think this represents a much graver threat than we realized. The world will be overrun with actual nightmares.
I think I look over and see a undulating shadow. Oh,
Did someone
Tasos.
say nightmares?
You have spoken with the scholar of these underways and gazed at them far more than I. What would be expected of this?
I truly don't know. I've never been able to cross over to the other side.
And I would guess, Darius, you were there with us over here in agreement that suddenly opening these things would be bad.
I'm not sure what it would do, but it doesn't seem like something that should allow to happen.
And you will see this cat jump up on the table,
Goodness.
and it will look, and this is Blue Claw. And Blue Claw will say, Master Darius, would you translate for me? The rest of you hear meow, 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 meow.
Of course, sure.
The night roads are not the ways that were originally traveled. Instead, they are the broken, damaged, and ruptured ways. The things outside that were locked away, the broken angels, the remnant demons, the warlocks who were lost and have been transformed. These are veins of dangerous forces that will both fall into this world and draw people out from it. They are a thin membrane separating this world from falling into all worlds and all evils.
That's very bad.
Are they related at all to the doorways of the Kingdom of Ours?
No, not as far as I can tell.
Those are other bad things.
Those are other bad things.
So
They are what's left of those God wars. Imagine that everything that was contaminated, made radioactive, destructive, got shuffled into a great series of dumps. And that's what they want to open the doors to. Now, mind you, we have walked on them before, but that's because we're cats and we're much better than anybody else, and we can do that.
I like it when Darius says that.
Oh, Darius,
We're all nodding along. Yes, well, you are cats. Yes.
I mean, I could turn into a cat and make it.
Then we couldn't understand you. So
Right.
So
It's this constant turning back and forth, turn into a cat, listen, turn into a human, talk.
I ask the cat,
Blue Claw. My name is Blue Claw.
I ask Blue Claw, the night roads we have seen and experienced have been localized. But from what you're telling me, from what you're telling us, this is not, it's not like there will be a series of portals or openings. It will just be open everywhere.
I do not know what it means. There are places where the night roads have a physical correspondence, like the place that is here in the Assassin's Library. The places that you have seen are like rest stops, way stations along that night road.
Like the pyramid.
pyramid is
didn't
a
I-
place
I
that
don't know.
things are sealed. Don't think there was a
Hmm.
night road there, was there?
That was where the elemental evils were tucked away.
Steel, but they weren't connected
Yes,
to
it
the night
was,
roads.
Right.
Yeah.
It was across
Okay.
the waters, so I assumed
Ooh.
you didn't want anything to do
Dude,
with
no,
it.
thank you.
No,
Nope.
we never would have brought you there against you.
So, do we think that the dragon in its nihilism is behind opening the midden of the apocalypse? Or we have been told that the corrupt jungle is now entwined in this? Because that was something we were given as prophecy or
Yes.
information.
It will say the thing is this. Your dragon wants to destroy the world. It's made out of little old leftover death gods. Your jungle friend Tasos kind of raise its paw. Just wants the world to be like it.
Corrupted.
Yes.
Doesn't seem a joint thing.
It
to happen.
isn't.
They want different
They
things.
know that it would be weakened if we're fighting one or the other. So it's a
Yeah.
chance to defeat us once and for
Yeah.
all. It's tactic.
What
It
What
means
would
we can
happen?
also play them against each other.
if the corpses used in this ritual were to gain life?
Then need to kill them again or undead them again.
What if we were to somehow pull life from the jungle and give it to the dead?
That's a whole nother kind of hell, but can we do
Have to
that?
come up with ways to make sure that that's not just giving the jungle what it needs.
Yes, truly stealing its power rather than spreading it. But that is intriguing.
It is in theory a font of infinite creative energy.
Does anyone, Darius, do you think you could channel that much energy if it could be stolen?
I've stolen life energy before, and I've given life energy. I've never channeled it directly, but I think I could. I would need Threadless has a different kind of life energy that might be helpful.
Okay. Yeah, because the jungle has a very amped up fertility. Hence the seeds.
Yeah.
And she does kind of look meaningfully at Tasos.
Twins do have the deepest connection to the jungle of anything on this plane that is not already a part of it.
They could be perhaps a conduit.
No.
No.
Maybe. I don't know.
Could we just take the seeds out of them?
We have talked of that. We've worried about the dangers of it, but we could investigate and try. Ordevi, you are the most knowledgeable of us all. Can you see a means of converting that energy?
I am going to ask a question.
Sure.
The unveiled truth lets me ask any question.
What is your question, Ordevi?
I just want to make sure I get this right, friends. We're converting the living energy of the forest.
That may not be our best.
I mean, there's other thing we could consider is just that all those bodies are, I mean, all of that machine is the undead machine. Is there something we can do that would wipe out the undead?
How do we wipe out the undead?
How do you wipe out the undead?
For good.
You destroyed the dragon. Like, if you want if the answer is the easiest, clearest answer, that is the answer that the universe will give to you, or
Yeah.
Devi.
The answer is generally brief.
That's brief.
Kill that dragon.
I mean, from a meta standpoint, I really love the idea of like trying to undo this or disrupt this undead ritual with the life energy of the jungle.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
They're not undead if they're alive, or I guess if they're alive, they're no longer undead.
I think we're going to set that kind of up as the terms of our fight that we're going to have next
Okay.
time. Like that's like the jungle is coming, the undead are there, dragon is there, and you're looking for ways to utilize the energy of one against the other in that. So that kind of gives, basically, we've kind of framed up some stuff to, and we'll figure out how that actually works storyline wise during the session. So just imagine that you have kind of looked at that, and we'll play that out. But that seems like a fair thing to set up, Captain Ransom.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Perhaps as a part of that is where the seeds fall in that with the twins.
Well,
if that is something we can
let's
pull
come
or
to
not.
Tasos then.
Yeah.
Tasos, let's have your scene.
So I'm trying to trying to think like who to take them to. I suppose Darius, just to see if they can.
It's a power of fertility, and I have anti-fertility.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to say it's the only thing. I just want to give you that thing is
No,
it
that's
is an
cool.
option.
Yeah, we can take him to Threadless.
So here is the problem. Those seeds in them are their souls. And that's the problem. That's the problem that August Descending pointed out, is that they have grown into their souls, and it is difficult to say where those seeds begin and end and where their souls begin or end.
Sounds like a nightmare.
I've had trouble getting answers I desired about this. Everyone has answers I didn't want to hear about it.
Yes, we'll have to change our tactics then.
If we are looking at subverting this energy, there would have to be something else to direct it, control it, embody it. Whatever its state now, there is obviously some avatar of the jungle out there.
Yuan Lao, who is always interested in what's going on with the twins, will be present in this, will say, we just need the seeds, right?
Mhm.
I believe that I can do that.
Okay.
What?
I copied the children before.
Their bodies?
I copied the children before such that the angels would not be able to tell the difference.
Oh, that's right. You made yourself appear as if you were.
I made myself into the children.
Do you have the seeds in you?
Yes.
Do you know how to separate them from your own soul? Can we help you in this?
I did not realize that they were different parts when I did this, so I don't think that it can do that. But I have. I am the high priest of the nightmare that is Tasos. And I
mean,
think
there's this weird whole like internal moment and level up music and like shit is going on.
and she says
Thunderclap.
she says that I would give anything to save these children just as Tasos would. So let me be your fulcrus and your fulcrum in this. Not to sacrifice myself. I do not wish to sacrifice myself, and I will fight to keep myself from dying, but I would be a weapon in this fight.
It wouldn't be enough simply to copy them, to confuse it. Could
Oh
you
no.
keep it away from them?
She has the seed in her soul, Tasos.
Draw through me. Keep the children in that place of safety that you put them before, Tasos, so that that influence cannot touch them. And we will do this fight.
would leave possibilities in their futures.
That would be enough for me. And if this thing is gone, then that seed will change, and their souls will be whole again. May not be as they were, as they are, but they will be alive.
Apotheosis never leaves you as you were.
I don't know exactly what that means, but I think you're probably right. And you see, she's very reluctant to say that.
She has to now. It's on her business card.
I give her a
And-
look of such sympathy.
Yeah, and she will turn and she will say to you, Tasos, may I do this?
Yes.
Thank you.
This is what we will do together.
That seems reasonable. Darius, I want to give you another scene, an NPC to talk to, or PC. What do you want to call here?
Hmm. I want to learn more about this bottomless source of life situation here.
Sure. So I'll tell you what you know about this, what the group is known, then maybe that can frame up for a question that you
Okay.
might have or research.
Yeah.
There were 4 corruptions of the high elements that were done in the God Wars. They were weapons that were made that were too much and actually got tucked away in a temple of these elemental evils. And 2 of them are still trapped. Essentially, the elemental of blood and the elemental of ocean, and they are still locked away. But the elemental of storm got out and did a whole bunch of stuff with storm giants and cloud giants and evil thunderstorms and such. The other one is this elemental of the dark heart of the jungle. It is verdancy and birth and wildness without humanity or civilization, that kind of elemental force, that the jungle as the thing that people cannot survive in, and it blooms and blossoms. It is very much, how do I put this in a way? Have you seen the movie Annihilation?
Mhm.
That's what it is.
Okay.
It is the zone.
Yeah. Cool.
And they know that it has what it did was it found children with some power, some magical power, people across the land, and put these seeds in so that eventually they would blossom and create jungles where they were. And the 2 kids that Tasos has, they have those seeds in them.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, it seems like the seeds are probably the easiest like way to transfer power.
I think one of the things that you will give you a think is you're wondering about how this thing is when it comes, it will probably have a physical form because
Okay.
that's traditionally how these things have moved is they've possessed bodies, they possess forms. So you know that it's going to face the dragon and you, and it will have some sort of form. It might be an animal, it might be a human, it might be something else like that.
Okay.
That will be filled with that wild, changing energy.
Or
Okay.
they were kind of weird lizard men and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
they were lizard men that had flowers all over them,
yes.
Cool. Okay.
blooming out of their eyes and
And
things.
then I made some big lawnmowers. and-
Yeah, that's right. I got the lawnmower.
Okay. Cool. All right. I think that is actually something I will deal with when it happens.
Okay.
So I do kind of have ideas there.
Does that feel like a scene for you?
Yeah, I think,
Okay.
I guess in the fiction, this is just Darius asking a lot of questions and doing a lot of research on it.
To get that montage of you looking at books, if you're talking to people,
Mhm.
consulting with the cats, that kind of
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
Get that together. Threadless, what about you?
So our dragon, who we know has eaten a lot of death gods, is ready to destroy the world. And there's nothing that we have that gives what his original purpose was, what this black dragon, what his role was previously. We have none of that history, none of that knowledge here.
Not really. Want to try and research, figure out, like study,
Mhm.
find something out?
Exactly. And to the thing where I won't just look for black dragons, I will look for dragons that were that had existed previously and their death is not accounted for. Ones that might have had some responsibility that would bring them into conflict with these sorcerers or with death gods, that sort of thing. Protect, that sort of thing. To see if it's essentially he was a different kind of dragon, but actually eating all of these death gods has been what's made him a black dragon.
Do you go as Ordevi suggested and pull up the Professor of Dragons again?
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
Why don't
and
you
I'm like,
make-
where are the materials? These are the questions I'm asking. This is where I need to go. Yes.
Why don't you make an intelligence check for me here?
Okay. My dice rolling has been so good. So
yes.
good. So 10, and I don't think I'm completely stupid, but
So 8, so just an 18. Do you want to use your luck for that?
sure. I will use my luck for that so that
Okay.
you can, and then I will have an excellent outcome, right?
Yes, because that will break 20.
Okay, good.
You will spend some time going through this. And one of the things you find as you're looking at the dragons, especially these high dragons, is how much in like going through and fighting them and they, during the Gods Wars and things like that, especially the later stuff, it comes from the materials that you've kind of found where in Rixos they were building dragons and things like that. And as much as they think it's kind of that the problems that the Rixosians had is that when you make a dragon, it inherently has a task and a purpose and a focus, and it's very difficult for it to break from that.
Right.
And so sometimes they'd make a dragon and they'd kind of mess up the programming, and it would go and do what it asked them to do in the most literal way. But it's also the way that they defeated the dragons. This thing has eaten death gods. That means that people can't kill it. Only gods can kill it.
Mm.
And you think that it is doing this machine, it is doing this thing to get you to come.
Okay. It wants to die.
It is inherently made of death and it can't die. But neither can it lay down to surrender. Does that seem like a reasonable answer to your question?
It's a terrible answer to my question, which I think is exactly what you intended.
Maybe. Ordevi, how are you preparing for this apocalyptic situation?
Well, we got someone researching dragons. We got someone researching seeds and life force. I think I'm curious. I'm anxious about the aftermath. And I was just looking at our NPCs to see if there was someone who I could talk to. I do always enjoy talking to Yashad, the chicken.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The Scholar of Violence.
Yeah. Yashad, thank you for coming to speak to me. I worry that
I like the idea that you actually went to their office and said that.
yeah, they were in the middle of a meeting and I
Yes.
just pushed my way in. Thank you for coming to speak to me. I'm anxious that when I'm optimistic that the Pantheon will succeed in defeating the dragon and ridding the world of this force. But I am anxious that that will create a power vacuum that will lead to uprisings, a grab for power. Do you and violence?
Mhm.
And we are trying to create, hopefully, maybe, possibly, a better world. Do you have any insights into this that you would
Yes,
offer?
yes. I would say this. You've already dealt with, at least with the dragon being gone, the two forces that might move in to fill that power vacuum. You have already conquered Gesnia, and you've brought Shansint under your yoke as well. If you destroy the dragon, Arwood Shah will be liberated, and there will be a power vacuum in terms of who rules after that. But you're already positioned yourselves very well for that. The more questionable power vacuum is this dark elemental has been a hovering dangerous force, a sickness that has meant that the surrounding empires have acted with caution. When it is gone, it may well be that they may look more seriously at coming.
You mean the Empire of Iron or the Empire of Hours?
Or the Empire of Ghosts. You've already seen them scouting around the area in
I've had
their...
enough ghosts in my life. Yes.
I know. I'm saying just that we've already seen them hollow out the bodies of gods and use those as vessels to get over here. I will say this. The Empire of Iron is probably the empire that is least likely to be inherently inimical to these lands and to you. The Empire of Ghosts, they make ghosts, and they make ghosts out of people and gods.
Mm.
And the Empire of Hours, well, they forged gods into weapons.
There's a need to insulate us from these empires.
There was the closing that cut us off from the rest of the world. But it also cut us off from the rest of the world.
Which is a threat in its own way.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I am a hammer, and every problem I see looks like a nail to me.
Well, and then I think that there's a simple funding issue at heart here.
A funding issue.
Absolutely.
I'm not giving you more money for your department, Yashad.
That's-
This is a much bigger conversation than budgets.
We need more assassins.
You two are a hammer, and everything looks like a nail.
Exactly. But here is the thing. We need to make it clear to those who would come here that this place does not play by their rules. I don't think we need to raise huge armies. I don't think we need to great military forces. Between Ransom taking command of the high seas and assassins popping up whenever they have someone intelligent leading something. Stab, stab, two to the brain pan, as they say.
And
Now,
let me
mind you, you've come to a scholar of violence, so
I know,
you
I
knew
know
what
who
kind
I
of
was
answer
coming
I was
to.
going to give you. didn't
I
you?
was worried. I was not thinking that violence would be the solution to our problems.
Oh,
but more
violence is the
that you
solution
would-
to every problem.
I know, Hammer. That is what I was thinking, that violence would be the problem that we are trying to solve. Surely a scholar of violence also understands the inherent problems of violence.
Oh, well, you suggested there were going to be problems internally of violence. I think you don't need to worry about that. I think you've already taken care of that situation. If you're worried about the long-term plans,
You think if the threats are external, not internal.
correct. I think the next best thing that you and your companion need to do is you need to go and
Recruit some assassins.
well, no, the assassins thing is a whole nother thing. I just need a much bigger budget, and we need to get more people in, and then we need to get a plan. You've got two gods that can move from city to city. I don't think there's any issue once we start that.
Hmm.
Okay. But no, the other thing is that the thing that is a non-violent solution, well, it won't always be non-violent, but You need to go and go to places that don't have gods and be gods and establish temples. The whole continent, the whole landmass that Kajafir lies on, they've only heard of you through distant trade. Gorn, Niven, to the far east. These are places that need to hear the word of Ordevi and his pantheon. You need to spread the knowledge. Now, here is the other thing. We know that there were new gods in Shansint.
You think there potentially new gods appearing?
I'd say statistically, it is very likely that there are new gods elsewhere. And so the other thing is you need to decide how you interact with them. Now, this is the question of violence versus nonviolence at that point, but
you've given me permission to do a thing that I've been wanting to do. And I had some trepidation coming here and speaking to you, but I am glad that I did.
well, good. I am glad that if I've helped you, it has been a way of thanking you for having taken me along on that journey into the underworld. Though I still cannot get the vision of Tasos slicing his own guts open out of my mind. At night, he pops into my nightmares and puts it back there after I've had a few drinks. He will not let it go.
I will talk to them about it,
That would be appreciated.
but I make no promises.
I assume
And
so.
now I remember that. So I would like Ordevi to go to go to Kajafir.
Okay. That
And build the information aqueduct there.
that feels like a good long-term goal. All
Maybe
right.
his sort of closing montage. But yes,
Yeah.
that's his thing.
So I think we are at the time before the struggle, which will be next time. Does that seem fair? We are at that stage. You Arwen Shah Ghaznachi, there where the dragon is on the coast. You know how you will get there. You've prepared yourselves. And I think we will start with that journey in progress next time. And we will do the final conflict if that seems fair to everyone. So Dan, how do you want to do this?
Do the building of the
Yeah, do now. We have a choice. We can, kind of leave this here, and with the potential you're coming next session for the fight, if you can make it, or you being able to give us the epilogue. Do you want to give us your epilogue now, just in case, or
sure.
does that seem like a fair way to do it?
Yeah, it seems unlikely that I'll be able to come.
Yeah,
So
no,
I'll be
no. You're at a conference.
conference, yeah.
Why not Wi-Fi meeting with other people there? It makes sense.
Right.
I'm always amazed when anyone does do that. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you assessing.
It's in Seattle too, so the time will be completely
Oh
different.
God,
I
yeah.
don't know that I can.
That'll
It'll
be
like
dinner
right over-
time. That'll be
it'll
dinner time. So yeah, no.
And there'll be people I need
Yeah.
to see. So okay.
So we will. Do you think that Ordevi leaves to do this before the battle?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does Ordevi leave a note? Does he tell anyone, or does he just go?
He leaves a note for ransom. And the note is sort of laced with, I'll be back. I'm going to do this to ensure our future and make sure the ransom note. And to make sure that the aftermath of the battle is not worse than the battle itself. And he expresses deepest apologies for missing. Oh no, he actually says, "I'll be back in time for the wedding." So he sort of makes a promise, hopefully that he knows he can commit to. And as soon as Threadless said aqueduct, he was like, his brain said, the knowledge is in the water. And so he builds a literal aqueduct where the water that people, the people drinking from the water gain the knowledge. And so it is equitable because everyone's drinking from this water, and it is gradual. So it's not all information all at once or whatever information you want. It's just sort of the gradual raising of literacy and understanding. He sees this as an insulation against outside influences, that people who can think for themselves, who have enough knowledge for themselves, will not be influenced by other pantheons. There's a little bit of propaganda for our pantheon in
Yeah,
there,
okay.
too. Yeah.
And what kind of knowledge are you passing on then? Like, is it just the most basic of things?
I think
Is it
I think there's stories of the things that we five have done to make the world better. There are stories about the sort of challenges that we've had to undergo, both kind of physically but also morally, to help people understand how to make decisions for themselves.
so stories embedded with symbolic meaning, basic information, literacy, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
I like that. I like the idea too that as you travel Kajafir, at some point, your paths will cross with at least one other god, another goddess, who will come to you and will say in dreams, "Your brother Ivedro came to me. He said that you would come to Kajafir and that you would need my assistance in what you were doing."
It's possible. Are you the goddess of coffee? 'Cause that's really
Exactly. That is
fantastic.
you
I
are carrying knowledge in the water. We will make it stronger.
My brother knows me so well, and this, maybe you don't, but I can tell you that this is the purest act of love that he has ever shown me.
And I think that's our end of that montage. Does that seem okay, Dan?
That's great. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Uh, let's do a quick stars and wishes. We will set out next time for the big climax. Uh, let's start with ransom.
I want to start out by saying, if you're not here next time, Dan, it has been a total delight. I have loved these two characters in one. I have loved every moment of playing with you. Thank you so much for being in a game with me. I'm always grateful to play with you. Tonight was cool. There were a lot of neat things. I love seeing us plan, and it's always fun to see us get into a big exciting moment, but we're so cool when we're consulting each other and delving into things and exploring the stuff we are really interested in. It's just always so much fun. Um, you know, I thought Desire and Tassos moment was wonderful. I loved the working on the dragon, the making of the dragon. I thought that was really, really fun. And what you brought in, Sherry, what each of us brought in, and made it very neat. Um, and Ethan, what a magnificent idea to kind of switch us to a new viewpoint to fight this dragon. That was really, really good. And it reshaped kind of where we were going. And it was just bravo. Well done. So really nice session tonight. I suppose for wishes, obviously I want to have a cool, satisfying fight with this, with these problems. But I really care about the twins too, and I care about Tassos's relationship with them. So I'm all up for the angst of the seeds story and how that all goes. I look forward to that. Um, and I hope, like any good comedy, it ends with a wedding.
Okay. I think that's a fair ask. Tasos?
Yeah, I thought again the next step, the continuation of the dragon construction has just been fascinating, and I love the idea of like all these gifts and blessings from all these different gods sort of melding together in it. Tyler, I thought your like wedding planning scene was really nice, and just to pile on all the like tension and worry and the what's gonna happen next time, to put like all your wedding plans contingent on how this all goes. It's just like more stress and drama onto it, which is lovely. And Ethan, I want to double like that suggestion of how to reframe like pitting these one powers against the other. Like, it not only led us to a new view on how we're going to deal with this dragon, it's sort of like unlocked a bit of what I've been looking for and pushing for with the story of the twins, and trying to figure out how to move forward. And that's sort of like that was the taking away that last stone that all the rest of it just sort of started falling into place, which I'm really happy about and really grateful for. So wishes, yeah, I want to. I'm curious to see how far Nuan Lao has to go. I'm curious to see like how we work up this magical fuckery to put the infinite font of life into the infinite well of death sort of thing here. Um, and I want to see at least like the beginnings of what happens to the twins on the other side.
Okay. Darius.
Stars for the entire dragon creation. I mean, everybody giving it a gift is a very cool idea. Uh, and the whole wedding discussion also. There were just a lot of really good conversations in this. Like every conversation, every like you know throw two characters together was just so good. And yeah, wishes. I mean, I don't think I have any specific wishes that aren't, you know, obviously going to happen, like
Mhm.
going to come up. So
I think that's fair. I want to call it, I really enjoyed what you did with the scene with Felric with the other city god. Like I really like that. That was very fun to run. Threadless.
Let's see here. What everyone else said, because you all were stellar this evening, super stellar. But Lo, I have to give you huge points for Sedenia's gift, right straight to my heart from a secret room full of daggers. Yes.
That was a wonderful moment.
Ouch. So anyway, I mean, it's a dragon and it'll end up being the symbol of kings, but it's why? Oh, anyway, yes. So that was great. And I really liked that the aqueduct of knowledge became literally an aqueduct of knowledge. That I was very, very glad to see. So anyway, it was all good. You were all wonderful. I'm looking forward to what we're going to do next. I hope that we get to have a bit of a conversation with the Black Dragon before we commence into the battle. But
Okay.
that's my wish.
Absolutely. You've mentioned that a couple of times, so that's definitely
Mhm.
in the cards here.
Okay.
And yeah, I forgot to say, Dan, oracular Wikipedia that decides what knowledge is good for you is just like, it's the most amazing thing.
And last but not least, Ordevi.
Friends, I have so thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm so glad we got to play again. I'm gonna miss this and this game so much. My only wish is that I could be here next week. Knowing what I know about how I'm gonna be needing to spend my time, it's probably best that I'm not here. Stars, everyone said lots of things that I was thinking of. I will say that I wrote down this one line towards the very beginning that is probably still my favorite line of certainly this episode, not the whole thing, which is Patrick saying, I have enough dominion to go to the next tier of living nightmares. And I just thought that was great. I think that's what makes this game amazing.
Thank you
Thanks
for
to
believing in me.
thanks to Sherry for indulging me on my Evedronet idea. And that was so much fun. And Ransom, man, Ordevi and Ransom are gonna end up in a spin-off buddy movie. And it's mostly gonna be them talking about stuff and not actually doing anything. Which is fine, which is great. I find that just super entertaining. Thanks for that, guys. That's it for me.
Yeah. Dan, I also just point out once again, all of this came about because I ran a short Godbound game with Dan. And afterwards he was like, I really enjoyed that. If you were going to do a long-term game of it, give me a heads up.
Please let me play.
And it was always in the back of my mind, and I was so glad that we were able to do this over extended session. So thank you all so much. Have a great flight to Seattle. I hope everything goes well there.
Thanks.
And
Yes.
thank you all so much. And I am going to stop the recording.